Hey, liberal fruitcakes! An election executive order? Let's talk about it! So yesterday, Trump signed an executive order titled, Preserving and Protecting the Integrity of American Elections. And to say mainstream media and the Democratic Party are handling this well would be one of the largest overstatements I've ever made. And I find it funny that the party that says that we had safe and secure elections, the very same party which said that Trump stole this election, and the same party that said during the last Trump presidency that Trump was an illegitimate president and the election was stolen, because yes, there are many in the Democratic Party who said that and continue to say that, are upset about the executive order Trump signed yesterday. So let's look into it. So first and foremost, this executive order only applies to federal elections. Now what does this executive order do? It requires proof of citizenship in order to be able to vote in a federal election. Which means, in order to register to vote, you must provide your birth certificate, a passport, or other federal documents that prove you are a U.S. citizen in order to register to vote. Now you're going to say, non-citizens aren't voting in federal elections. Then why do you care? Why do you care? If non-citizens aren't voting in federal elections, why do you care? Now you're going to say, because it puts an undue burden on U.S. citizens. You're required to have a driver's license in order to be able to drive. You're required to show some form of ID in order to be able to buy alcohol that shows you're 21 or older. And I can hear you screeching, well, those aren't constitutional rights. You're required to show ID to buy a firearm in the United States in every single state. And to buy a firearm, you are required to have a background check, with few exceptions. And that's a constitutional right. So sometimes there are burdens placed on us as American citizens in order for us to participate in certain rights or privileges. Now you're going to say, this puts an undue burden on minorities. This coming from the party that says Republicans aren't smart. Well, we're all for this. And currently, you have just over a year and a half before our next election, the midterms, in order to be able to collect these documents. So if you're missing your birth certificate, you can apply to get a new one. If you want a passport, you can apply to get a new one. And you're going to say, those are expensive. Life's expensive. And there were quite a few people that I saw that said they wanted to leave the United States if Trump was elected. So you should have a passport. Now you're also going to say, what about the people who are married who changed their name? Bring your birth certificate and your wedding certificate. It's going to show your name change. It's not that hard. So let's move on to the next part of the executive order. It has a deadline for mail-in ballots, meaning all mail-in and absentee ballots are required to be received on election day in order to be able to be counted. This is regardless of postmark date. Again, why are you guys upset about this? I don't think there's a person alive in the United States of America who doesn't want to know the election results on the night of the election. And if you have an absentee ballot or a mail-in ballot, why aren't you postmarking it well before? Because you get those things like a month in advance, if not longer. So there's really no excuse. So deep breaths. Now it also outlines some federal enforcement. Because again, this is applying to federal elections, which states, in the federal elections, if you do not follow these policies that are outlined, federal funding will be withheld from your state. Now, of course, these executive orders are probably going to face legal challenges from every single state. Well, every single Democratic state. And what you guys have to remember when Trump signs these executive orders, it's not just him who comes up with them. He has an entire team of lawyers, constitutional lawyers, that look at it. And if he thought he was going to lose or didn't have good grounding for these executive orders, he probably wouldn't sign them. If you guys are upset about this executive order and don't think it's a good thing for our country, just remember, out of 195 countries on this planet, only like 6 of them don't have voter identification laws. Have a good day!